Colin James, better known as Scania, grew Tokoroa-based Central Equipment Movers through decades of hard work and keeping an eye out on opportunity. Likewise, the company's latest acquisition, a Scania 770S Prime Mover, is an exquisite tool that presented the opportunity to make a heavy job just that much more efficient for the next generation in the business, Colin's son, Matt. Anything with more than 700 horsepower can be considered just a little special, but simply leisurely cruising the highways at 58 tonne is working well below the designed potential. But today, we're talking 770 horsepower and more than 80 tonnes all up, 3 rows of 8 and a 2-row load divider, all headed right into the guts of some of the toughest logging country in the middle of the northern Hawke's Bay. More so, it's not often we get the opportunity to pursue an oversized load, pilots and all. We just had to be there. That's how we find ourselves here bright and early at Shaw's Wire and Ropes, the wire and rope rigging, lifting and forestry specialist in Cambridge, on a picture-perfect summer morning, meeting up with Matt James and his new Scania 770S. The big Scania gleams in the early morning sunlight. The more you look, the more you see, and the more the little details stand out. It's a superb-looking machine, a conversation starter if ever there was one. But those who know the CEM team will know that the company is synonymous with big North American gear. So for Matt, the Scania represents a massive change from the American gear. Its name Suspicious Mind is both a tribute to Dad, Colin's favourite Elvis song, as well as Matt's observation of the transport industry in general. Looking at the rear wall of the sleeper, the script, the man, the myth, the legend. This honours Dad, Scania, a label assigned to him in connection with a big white cab over Scania, LB141 with a 375 horsepower V8, owned back in the day by GM Fellingham of Tokoroa. That was big gear in the early 70s. Apparently at school, and even then later in the bush, I wouldn't shut up about these Scanias, Colin says with a laugh. So there you go, that's how Colin James got the name Scania. Matt's load for today is a Scania SY415H Pro tracked excavator, positioned on Matt's MTE 3 rows of 8 link wing widening low loader. We're measuring just on 24.5 metres long, including truck and dolly, and 3.7 metres wide and 4.8 metres high. Weight is around about 86 tonnes all up. This isn't the biggest we do. Those real big log haulers are regularly up around 80 tonnes alone, and they're also higher and wider, says Matt. Be that as it may, the Scania is still an impressive load, fitted with a New Zealand-made Woodsman Pro 850 tree harvester, all supplied by Shaw's and destined for a skid site in the northern Hawke's Bay. Guiding us along the way are a formidable team of Class 1 pilots, Nadine Bell and Tom Mitchell of Overdimensional Transport Services. Immediately the radio lights up with Nadine and Tom calling the way forward. The chatter is constant and awesome to listen to. It's a model example of customer and contractor working with the utmost trust in each other in perfect harmony as efficiently as possible. As you'd expect, the Waikato Expressway poses no challenge at all for the combination, and the Kaimais are dispatched at nothing less than 30 km per hour. And before long, we've passed through Tauranga and we're headed for Whakatane. And from there, the Scania makes easy work of the leg through to Apotiki. And before long, we're barrelling into the Waiwaka Gorge and up and over a rainy Trafford's Hill. It sort of looks easy just burning along like this, but I've been doing it for 16 odd years now, and that's why I've written that, Matt says, pointing at the rear of his sun visor. Printed on the back of the sun visor is the message, complacency ruins efficiency. Matt reads this phrase each time he gets into the cab, and watching him load and operate this unit, it's obvious that this is very much his approach to the job. Making life behind the wheel a bit more comfortable doesn't hurt efficiency either. By now we're well acquainted with the S-Cab Scanias, but Matt's ordered his cab with a full black upper trim, and upon landing on our shores, the customisation wizards at RVE were enlisted to work their magic. Combined with the full air suspension and fully air suspended cab, the Big Swede offers up one of the cushiest rides in the business.
Yeah, looking clear around the left-hander. Clear ahead so far.
It's day 2 and we're heading out of Gisborne south on State Highway 2. The road surface is rougher, its width is narrower, and the inclines and descents are steeper. Only a 2-hour drive to our turn-off, but there's a lot going on. And again, the radio is alive between the pilots, Matt, as well as other truckies, all liaising a safe passage for each other. The wharerators signal that we're nearing our destination. They would be considered steep under normal circumstances, but moving 86 tonnes up and over the hill is a whole other challenge. At the foot of the climb, Matt pulls over and allows the traffic build-up to pass. Then we're off. First gear, second, third, fourth. The 770 moves off like a big hefty car. Not a hint of strain, no bucking or protest. It's like 80 plus tonne is nothing at all to the drivetrain. The 12 plus 2 Opti Cruise ushers in another gear almost imperceptibly, with hardly any interruption to the flow of the V8's 3700 Nm of torque. We summit at 22 km per hour and fifth at 1800 RPM to the soulful tune of a large capacity V8 earning its crust. This truck really just sets the standard on the highway, Matt says. Sure, a lot of heavy hauling is in the gearing. We've gone for 4.38 to 1 axles and 4.21 to 1 hub reduction, and I'm running the power divider engaged as well. On the point of axle spec, the front axle is another important piece of the heavy haul puzzle as well, and Matt's 770 is thought to be the first in the world, certainly the first in the country, with an 8-tonne front axle on air. Our dirt road climb ahead of us into the hills is tight, twisty and steep in places. The current rainfall has only added to this task. Matt's plan is to offload the Scania, disconnect the dolly and leave it behind, narrow up the trailer as much as possible without risking the merchandise, drop the CTI and go for it. The narrower trailer means reduced stability, but it's the only way to make the tighter turns and the bends that lay ahead of us. To aid progress, Matt uses the load transfer to shuffle the load between the drive axles by adjusting the pressure in the airbags. This allows him to load up the rear of the truck, and with the power divider in, the Scania just digs its heels in and keeps climbing. If needed, Matt can also lock out a drive axle to make it single drive. This ability to configure the setup of the truck on the fly is an incredible asset, and it's all achieved right from the comfort of the driver's seat. The biggest compliment paid to the Scania on the day came from the grader driver, who gives all the really heavy stuff a helpful tow up the particularly difficult section of the 21-kilometre climb up into the clouds. And in his words, that was by far the easiest tow I've ever done, and I've done hundreds of them, he said. Before we know it, we reach the drop-off site and the chains come off the big Scania and it's delivered. Heavy haul being what it is, means that there's no return load for us to follow Matt home with. And so heading back into Gisborne, our time tagging along comes to an end. Not that we felt shortchanged, not one little bit at all. While this wasn't our first taste of the Scania 770, it was by far certainly a special way to end 2023. But special doesn't really quite sum it up though. No, each time one of us climbed in and out of that cab, we summed up Matt's machine with one word and one word alone: effortless. To read the full story on the new heavy haul spec 770S Scania tractor unit for Tokoroa-based central equipment movers, then catch a copy of the December 2023, January 24 issue of New Zealand Trucking magazine, or visit us at nztrucking.co.nz. To read a digital copy, see the links below. And remember to hit those like and subscribe buttons for fresh content as we upload it for you. And from the entire team here at New Zealand Trucking Media, we would like to take this opportunity to wish you all a fantastic festive season with your family and friends. Have a great month out there, travel safe, and we'll catch up with you all in the new year.